There are lonelier professions than the one Elias Vane had chosen, though not many. A man might spend his life in a lighthouse or in a watchtower at the edge of a frozen country and still feel less alone than Elias felt most nights on the 11th floor of Building C, inside the Department of Trust and Safety for a platform called Vista. He reviewed videos before release: violence, fraud, cruelty, threats, staged grief, manipulative spectacle. Those were the ordinary materials of his shift. He did not create anything, and he did not repair anything. He stood between the public and a flood of human expression, deciding what passed through and what should be quietly buried. After 9 years of this, Elias had come to think of himself as a necessary filter. It explained his isolation. It excused his fatigue. It even gave dignity to the habits that had narrowed his life into something small and airless. He lived alone in an apartment where the refrigerator hummed louder than most conversations. He had a younger sister, Mira, who still called often enough to prove she had not entirely given up on him, though he answered less often than he should have. Birthdays, dinners, apologies, family obligations, these had all begun to occupy the same place in his mind, things to be dealt with later, after the shift, after the cue, after he had made the world a little safer from itself. He told himself this was sacrifice. Others might have called it retreat. On the night that concerns us, the office was unusually quiet. Not silent, because such places are never silent. There was always ventilation, distant circuitry, the softened churn of elevators. But it was quiet enough that Elias could hear his own breathing when he leaned too close to the monitor. Sometime after 1 in the morning, a small pre-release video from an obscure lifestyle creator appeared in his queue. Nothing remarkable. The system had flagged it for a metadata irregularity, and Elias opened it expecting to clear it in under 30 seconds. Instead, he noticed something impossible. There was already a comment beneath the video. That alone would have been enough to disturb him, because the upload had not yet gone live. There should have been no views, no likes, and certainly no comments. Yet there it sat, neat and ordinary in appearance, posted by a user named Last Witness. The comment said that the woman would smile in this video, and that 2 weeks later, she would sell a lie so gentle that even she would come to believe it. Elias frowned, refreshed the page, checked the permissions, and found nothing that explained it. He deleted the comment, logged the anomaly, and moved on. The next upload had one too, then another. A hidden sentence beneath a gaming clip, another beneath a fitness channel, another beneath a family account. Always one comment, never more. Never visible in screenshots, never acknowledged by the logs. Always written in the same cold, measured style. And always less interested in the uploaded video than in the creator's future weakness, humiliation, compromise, or sorrow. By morning, Elias had convinced himself it was a technical fault, some buried flaw in the system. He sent a report, went home, and tried to sleep. But sleep proved reluctant. The comments lingered in his mind because they did not sound like threats. They did not rant or gloat. They read like verdicts rendered by something too distant to hate and too close to ignore. Over the next week, the predictions began to come true. A creator was exposed for fabricating a story of suffering. Another vanished after a breakdown that had once looked entertaining. A third was injured chasing the stunt that made him visible. None of it unfolded with theatrical precision, but each bent unmistakably toward the shape the comments had foretold. By then, Elias had already begun to change. He stopped opening videos to judge them by policy and started opening them to see what Last Witness had written this time. He told no one, because engineering had already informed him that no such user existed and no such comments were present anywhere in the system. If Elias continued to see them, that left only two possibilities. Either the platform was lying, or he was beginning to fail. On the 8th night, he opened a recruitment video produced by Vista itself. It was the usual polished corporate sermon about trust, safety, and protecting public discourse from harm. Beneath it waited a new comment from Last Witness. This one spoke about Elias. It said he would report the anomaly again. It said he would tell himself that protocol was protection. And it said he had spent 9 years deleting symptoms from a machine designed to reward the disease itself. He read the comment several times. Until then, the messages had belonged to others. Now, the thing beneath the screen had turned its attention toward the man watching.
That morning, after leaving the office, Elias did something he had postponed too often to still call it postponement. He returned a call from his sister. Mira answered with surprise, sharpened by caution. Their conversation was brief, but not because she lacked things to say. She reminded him that their mother's birthday had passed the week before and that he had forgotten it entirely. She told him, with a sadness sharper than anger, that he had arranged his life around witnessing the worst of people and had started using that witness as an excuse to expect nothing better from them. And somewhere in that exchange, she suggested that he spoke about the world as if he stood above it, when in truth, he had only hidden from it behind procedure. Elias defended himself. He insisted that somebody had to keep filth from spreading. Before ending the call, Mira told him something he would understand only later. Distance, she said, does not improve a soul. It only makes self-deception easier. That night, Elias returned to the office, determined to force the mystery into something measurable. He opened scheduled uploads at random. Cooking, finance, religion, comedy, grief. Each already carried one hidden comment. He tried printing a page. The printer returned a blank sheet. He photographed the monitor. The image showed an empty comment field. He copied the text. Nothing pasted. Only direct sight worked, as if the comments were written for consciousness, not for machines. Then came the upload that changed everything. It was a memorial video from a middle-aged man speaking alone to a camera about his wife, who had died 6 months earlier. The footage was plain and trembling. He explained that he kept recording updates because it helped him pretend, for a little while, that she was still listening. The system had flagged the upload for emotional manipulation. In policy terms, it was borderline. Beneath it, the waiting comment from Last Witness was shorter than the others. It told him not to remove this one. It said this was the last honest thing the man would ever say. Elias froze. The cursor hovered over the decision buttons. Approve, reject. Approve, reject. He thought of the thousands of decisions he had made without trembling, the thousands of people flattened into categories. He told himself he was being asked for consistency, not mercy. Then he rejected the video. At once, the screen flickered. Not like a glitch, more like a blink. The page refreshed. A new comment appeared beneath the rejected upload. Not from Last Witness, from Elias Vane. It said he would choose procedure over mercy because procedure asked nothing of him. It said that tomorrow, the man would decide that silence confirmed what grief had already been whispering. And it said Elias would read the incident report 6 days later and call it unfortunate. His blood turned cold. It was his own employee login, his own name, and the timestamp stood 1 minute in the future. He had not written it, yet there it was. 6 days later, exactly as the comment had promised, Elias found a short article about a man discovered dead in his apartment. No foul play suspected. He did not go to work that night, or the next. He remained inside his apartment, replaying every judgment he could still remember, every rejected appeal, every frightened person reduced to a checklist. He began hearing the cadence of the comments everywhere, in advertisements, in subtitles, in the dead spaces between voicemail sentences. Once a voice has spoken to a man from beneath the machinery itself can never again sound innocent. When Human Resources finally reached him, they insisted he attend an in-person review with compliance. He went because men like Elias always go when institutions summon them. Fear can drive rebellion, but habit is usually stronger. The office was nearly empty when he arrived. He was escorted not to HR, but back to floor 11. His station was already powered on. His dashboard was open, and on the screen sat a scheduled upload with no title, no thumbnail, and no channel name. Duration, 10 minutes. Elias clicked. The video began. It showed Elias at his desk in that same room beneath that same sickly office light. He watched himself watching. On the screen, his on-screen self leaned closer as a comment appeared beneath the player. The real Elias looked down. The same comment was appearing live on his own screen. It said that he had thought he was reading judgments when in fact, he had only been rehearsing his own. In the video, Elias turned toward the camera, as though finally aware he was not merely observing, but being observed. The real Elias did the same, and then he saw it. Not a lens, not a reflection, but the faint ghost of a comment field suspended in the black glass of the blank monitor beside him. Waiting. Empty. Patient. Ready.
Text began to type by itself, keystroke by keystroke. It said that every age invents a place where it can hide from conscience. A courtroom, a ledger, a uniform, a screen. It said Elias Vane had chosen a cursor and called it distance. But judgment, the message continued, has a habit of returning from whatever surface it strikes. It said that tomorrow a vacancy would open in moderation. A new man would sit in this chair. And before the world saw anything at all, he would see one comment written by the last person who had learned too late that witness is never neutral. The office lights went out. The video ended. The room remained black except for the glow of the screen. And there, at the bottom of the monitor, inside the empty comment field, the cursor was still blinking, waiting for Elias to begin typing. And so Elias Vane learned what others before him had learned, in different uniforms, in different centuries, under different systems with different names.
that responsibility does not disappear when divided by policy. It only becomes harder to recognize in the dark. He had believed distance would protect him. He had mistaken detachment for innocence. And like many men who spend too long judging the lives of strangers, he discovered at last that the most merciless verdicts are reserved for those who imagine themselves to be only spectators. Because there are places in every age where human beings go to hide from the full weight of their choices. And there are other places, rarer, quieter, and far less forgiving, where every evasion is returned at last with perfect clarity. Places just beyond the reach of excuse, places just beyond the reach of habit, places waiting, always, in the light beyond shadow.